Hey everybody, this is the Freeman Report brought to you by Patriot Shit Outfitters. Stop by Patriot Shit Outfitters and use the promo code EFMR2022. Get 10% off at checkout and also help the Freeman Report. So, just to update everybody, stop the music here. Just to update everybody. We've got a little change of the lineup. We're not going to be breaking down any articles, but we are going to be doing just a straight interview with a family member of one of the Michigan defendants, which is going to be conducted by Jeremy Deeter. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring Jeremy on, and he's gonna give you a little foreground information, and then we will bring on the interviewee.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, and we're good. Welcome everybody to the Freeman Report. Tonight we're going to take a look at a different perspective, one that I cannot give you, one that Thomas cannot give you. This comes directly from one of the family members, one of the closest people to Barry Croft that's been locked up in Michigan, accused of this ridiculousness of plotting to kidnap the governor, knowing no sane man would ever want to touch her. We're bringing on Chastity tonight. And what we're doing here is, and let's just be open about it, all right? Because we're not news media. We're fighting propaganda with reality. They have aligned Barry and Adam Croft and the guys on this case with Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra. They said that one of their own snitches ended up being a double agent. And the only way to be a double agent is if you're working for two agencies. We're not an agency. So they've painted these guys as monsters, terrorists, lunatics. So figure we'll bring on the person closest to Barry Croft, who has been accused of being the national leader of the 3%. He's been accused of many stupid things. So what we're doing here is, okay, fine. We're going to find out from the woman who knows the most about him and see what it's like to live with him. Are we going to find out that it's hell living with a domestic terrorist? Or are we going to find out that the FBI has lied and that this is a common man, that he's nothing they've painted him, that they have painted him to be? So without further ado, I want to go ahead and bring on Chastity. And if you guys will help me welcome her to the show. Chastity, there you are. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Man, we really appreciate you doing this. I know it's not the most comfortable thing, but I got to tell you, just knowing Barry and being his friend, for a while, he's an upright guy that you can see the strength in him, and I see that in you too. And so I know this isn't comfortable, but I know that you're tenacious and you're willing to do the right thing. So we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, we wonder what it's like. We hear, the talking heads, and we read the articles about these guys being lunatics. So let me ask: Is Barry a crazy man? Is he a lunatic? Is he some nut job that we should all be worried about?
Well, I've known Barry since 2011. He's a funny character. I've never known him to be this crazy lunatic that they're painting him at all. He's a gentleman. He opens the doors for you. He says, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. He picks up homeless people from when he's out on the road. I mean, if you're a crazy person, you're not going to do that. You're not going to sacrifice your life picking up a total stranger and giving them a ride to we're all over. That's that's what he did when he was out there on the road being a truck driver. He saw homeless people. He always helped. But I've never, even with, we had a praying mantis we watched grow up, and Barry actually got upset when one of the girls accidentally injured a praying mantis. So if you see a praying mantis being injured, how could you harm an innocent person? That's not who he is.
Man, what a good point. What a good point. The guy's so he's a big softy.
Yeah, he is a softie.
Oh. Man, I'm picking on him. As soon as he gets out, I'm picking on him, dude. Now we all know. Now we all know. The truth comes out. He's a big
Yeah,
freaking softy.
he is definitely a
That's funny.
softie.
That is
He's a
funny.
big
So,
bear, a big bear. That's all he is.
right, yeah. I had asked you right before we started the show, I think your answer was fantastic. I asked, what's something that you didn't anticipate in all this, and you said you didn't anticipate any of it.
No,
You didn't.
absolutely not.
Yeah, could you tell us some about that? You were talking about how the FBI came in when the kids were there and all that.
Oh yeah, it was really late at night. They came, they didn't barge in. I do say they didn't barge right into our house, but they came in, woke us up, their lights on, in their tactical uniform, told us we had to come out of the house, kept us for over 5 hours. But it was something that wasn't expected. We didn't expect the FBI to show up. We didn't expect Dad to be hauled off, taken away from, his family. He's the only sole provider that we have. And he was raising 3 girls, a single father with three girls.
Yeah, and he's been able to maintain, the bills and kept food in the house, and was a good provider then.
Yeah, he was a terrific provider. But since we've been gone, things have changed dramatically for us. We're down to his aunt doing what she can to help make things meet here at the house. Since Dad's gone, we're down without his income. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got to rely on others, not Dad.
Right. If there was a way for the Patriot community to be able to reach out and help you, whether it's groceries or bill money or whatever it is that something you guys would be willing to accept?
No. Just because that's just the type of person I don't like. I mean, we're good. I'm not saying we need help in any way of like that. Oh, we need or just the prayers, but I'm not an individual that. I mean, not unless I absolutely needed it, then yeah, I would ask. But that's something we don't need.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, but if you get into a position where you absolutely need it, do not hesitate. We want to be able to take care of our own for sure.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, and there's some things that can be anticipated as far as the instability that this can cause. I know that that's translated to the kids, and we're not going to focus on them tonight. I think everybody kind of has a natural assumption that if you take the father away from any household, you have damaged the household. And with you being there, now you're taking care of the girls, right?
Yes.
Okay. And all 3 of them are girls?
Yes.
Okay, so you are the same sex influence, so meaning that they're going to try to emulate you. They're going to say, okay, this is how a young woman should be. That's what the woman provides for young women, for daughters.
Right.
The man provides, this is what it is to be a man. And so when you get older, this is what you should be looking for is, my responsibility to my daughters is to emulate what it is to be a man. Do you think he did that? Do you think that Barry Croft, the guy who's been accused of all of these things, was a good role model for his daughters?
Oh, most definitely. He was a great role model. He taught them how to be the young ladies that they are. you know, he didn't try to, you know, raise them as if they were boys or anything. He knew that they were girls, and he tried, you know, he did his best at raising those young ladies, and he tried to teach them how a young lady should act and what to look for in a man. He wanted them to look for someone like him if once they were able to be old enough to, you know, get a husband and boyfriend. He didn't want his child to be with some slum bug.
Right. Right. Now, you know, kind of looking at a different end of the spectrum, what effect has this had on you concerning your feelings and thoughts towards your government and law enforcement when, like you said, you guys never expected this to happen. You never expected this. Now it has, and Barry's there, and he's under the conditions that he is, and now you're really getting kind of an inside look at our prisons and the judicial system and law enforcement. Has this put you in a different frame of mind about those three entities versus before he was arrested?
Yeah, I would
How
say
so?
so. Well, I always think that there's good and evil people in the world, but just seeing how the court systems work and how these other different agencies are working and how things are brought to light, and with our attention about things being twisted, I see that it's not done fairly. There's a lot more evil than I ever thought there was. So it makes me second guess a lot. And I never was really big into politics
Right.
at the door.
Yeah, and now it's shoved right in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it's a nasty crash course, to say the least. And I know that you guys have been devastated financially. The stability ripped out from underneath you guys, not just financial, but you know, everything that he provides. How is it that you've been able to keep it together?
The strength from my great Lord, that's all I can say. I mean, there's a lot of times I want to throw in the towel. I don't think I'm strong enough, but I just pray and I get that lift that I need, that energy that I need to keep carrying on. Not just
Nice.
for me, but for the, you know, for Barry and for the girls.
Yeah. And do you get to talk to Barry with some type of frequency, don't you?
Yeah, he gets to call weekly, 15 minutes, a phone call, and then I do once a month. I get to do a Zoom call that lasts about 45 minutes.
Really? You guys, is it like the video
Yeah,
chat?
like it's a video chat.
Okay. And how does he look? How is he holding up as far as his appearance?
Um, he looks pretty good. He's, you know, gray hair, stressed looking, but overall, I think he looks as best as he can in the situation he's in. Um,
But you can
he's just
see where
ready to
he's
come home.
waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough to see. I mean, from your position where you said you've known him since 2011, you
Mm-hmm.
know what the guy looks like. And over, this period of time, if his physical appearance has changed and he looks like he's aged, that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
That's an effect. That's a huge effect. Now you're going to be, you and I both are probably going to be subpoenaed. And
Yeah, I know I am for sure.
yeah, yeah.
I already got the call.
Right, right. Actually, yeah, they said they're coming to bring the subpoena tomorrow. Is that right?
Yep,
Yeah. So
tomorrow.
yeah, and this puts you in a position here where again, you have to pull yourself away. You have to sacrifice time. You have to get somebody to watch the girls. It's a complete disruption. It's a complete disruption.
Correct.
That adds on to everything else. However, this is the disruption we've been waiting for, because this is going to end this fiasco. And So where I'm going with that is somebody had sent me scripture saying that it's in Matthew and it's in Luke, where you don't prepare what you're going to say. You let God speak through you.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. And I got to ask, along that vein of thinking, how badly, at the end of it all, do you think the FBI will have hurt themselves?
Pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking about this earlier in a video. This case is kind of crazy, is it not? Like, neither you or I are experts. We don't know a lot about court cases or
Right.
anything, but the amount of shenanigans and tomfoolery and corruption and criminality is nuts on this case.
Definitely is.
And it's crazy to be part of it. It's crazy to be privy to the information that comes through. Let me ask, have you been able to kind of gauge any long-term or short-term maybe repercussions that the girls will have suffered from this?
Suffer a lot. I can't get into it for other circumstances. But yeah, not only do they suffer now, but they're gonna suffer for a while.
And that's not fair.
No.
That's not fair. That's not okay. I'm glad that you're there. I'm glad that you're able to be the support beam for everybody over there. And
Well,
I think you've done an incredible job.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, this hasn't been easy. The way that they've tried to demonize him and the way that they've tried to paint him as a lunatic. Will you do us a favor and kind of paint us a picture of typical interaction that you would have with Barry and and the young ladies there?
Well, it's laughter. Dad coming home, they're having tickle fights, asking dad to go to Rita's or to the park. We sit and we'll sit back and laugh at them because the girls, they'll be, they were run around the house, or they're jokesters like dad, so they're they're funny like dad. So it was just a blast having him home and having him around.
That breaks my heart. When we were in Dublin, we've got pictures of Barry sitting in the hot tub with his hat on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I think he had like some kind of necklace. I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, probably his dog tags.
Yeah.
He always wore them.
Yeah. And he's just a free-spirited guy like that. And
Yes,
I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of laughs. And when you take that element out of a house, that house gets very quiet. So that's a big hole that the FBI has created in all of your lives. And when there are people that are on this case that are walking free.
Yeah. That shouldn't even be free.
Shouldn't be. That's got to eat at you.
Oh, it definitely eats at me.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can't let it like turn into resentment or anything.
Oh, not at all.
But it's definitely, it's not fair when we look and we see the way your family's being affected, and there are other people related to this case that are walking free and definitely should not be.
Right.
That's both on the side of the agents and others involved.
Right.
It's unreal. Richard Trask gets to beat his wife, and his whole court case is done. It's already done. And he got nothing. You know, that was the head agent for this case.
Right.
You know, what crime did Barry commit? What woman did he beat up?
None.
You know, what was he driving drunk or wasted like Trask was?
Nope.
No. I mean, the man committed no crime. He's in jail for words that he said.
Right. Freedom of speech.
Yeah, we thought we had freedom of speech. You know, and when the FBI is there, they make sure you do not. They make sure that they can turn that into anything and everything they want.
Right.
Were you aware of this level of criminality from the FBI before this happened?
No.
No. So pretty much from beginning to end, this whole experience has been a shock for you.
Shock, all new.
Man, just a shock to your system.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're thrusted into this position,
Yeah.
the primary caretaker, and man, we look forward to you testifying. We look forward to seeing you at the courtroom and being part of what frees our guys.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, if you had a message, you know, for the other families, for you know, people that are associated to this case, like me and Thomas, you know, what could you tell us that? Go ahead.
Pray. Keep strong. What's done in the dark's going to be brought to light. God will see us to the other end. He will release, you know, these people. You know, truth will set them free.
And I did a video earlier today and was speaking along the line of this thinking, knowing that we are going to court to testify. So being wise, being smart here. If you could separate yourself from this situation and you could say something to the typical American family, you know, as like a message of warning, how would you say that, you know, so that people don't go through what you and Barry have had to go through?
I wouldn't even know how to really answer that because I would say I wouldn't trust people. Barry was trusting in people, and with him being so trustworthy in certain people, that's what got him to where he is today, because he, you know, those people that he considered his brothers. So I still have a hard time with that. So I'm not sure what type of information or words to give in regards to that.
Yeah, no, I think that's wise. I think that's very wise. He trusted people he thought were his friends, that they wouldn't take his words and try to make a criminal out of him.
Right.
You know, I think that's wise. I think that's very wise. You know, we don't want to become cynical where we don't trust anybody or anything, but my God, yeah, we have to wisely discern our situations. For sure. You know that we're praying for you guys.
Well, thank you.
And yeah, and let me see. Let me go to the chat room here. I don't want to. What would your message to the judge, jury, and all the people who might still have their hearts softened towards the guys? What would your message be?
Just let their minds be open, and so they're able to hear and see the truth that's going to be brought out in that time during his trial. That's all I would hope and pray for.
Okay. We the People's Voice said, I remember him crying on the phone about Casey Massey. We think that the Casey Massey fiasco is what got the feds to start to follow Barry in the first place. And it actually shows illegal inconsistency. Like illegal consistency. And they won't admit that they started surveillance. Actually, they won't admit when they started surveillance at all. But we think that the KC Massey, that his assassination and murder by the federal government was what initially got their eyes on Barry. Had he said anything to you about that? He said something to me about it too.
Yeah, he said something to me, right in the same lines of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that tells you right there, because the timeline does not make sense. If they were on him for that when KC died, they should have been done, right?
Yeah, should have.
But no, they stayed on him and then sent Stephen Robeson.
Yep.
You know, right there, that shows you this wasn't about KC Massey. This was about Barry. They were trying to get somebody.
Yeah.
You know, that's got to hurt. I mean, it hurts me. It's got to hurt you to know that he was targeted and betrayed like that. And he's a regular guy.
And I think he was targeted by more than once. I don't think it was just the KC Massey. There was a person, I'm not exactly sure where this person is from, but they introduced Barry to one of those the 3%ers club, and now she says she doesn't even know who Barry is. So I think it was more than one person trying to get to him.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually. Blue Ridge said that Barry inspires courage and that Barry saw the best in people.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
And I'm a witness to that. When I met Barry, I was right at the end. My path in life I was not too good. It was a kind of a dark place for me. And Barry taught me that there is still good in life. You can still have good things in life if you work and fight for it and just believe and push through it. So he's a very inspirational person.
Yep. And Blue Ridge said he was subpoenaed today.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, they're coming down.
Yeah.
And you know that, and let me say this to everybody. If you are subpoenaed, then that just means you're called to testify. That doesn't mean that you're called to testify for the prosecution or defense. It means that when you go there, both of them are going to ask you questions. And that's what that means. So, and we need as many of our people to come forward and testify on behalf of our guys. We need our witnesses, and we need our witnesses to come forward now so that we can get everybody ready for March 8th. I have to ask you this, and I'm sure you saw this. So they said that Barry was the leader of the 3%. And
not at all. Just because he had that tattoo on his hand does not mean that he was such thing. How can he have time?
Right. Yeah.
He was an overweight truck driver.
Yeah, with 3 little girls.
Right.
So, yeah, he's not. He's not. And that's amazing. That's amazing that they would say that. That's on a federal document that Barry Croft is the leader of the 3%. And it's a lie. It's just an outright lie.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, he, you know, and I know they're gonna ask us about all these things. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. It's so dumb that they would even try something like that. You know, all right. I want to make sure I get to if other people have questions. Yeah, the feds are the leader of the 3%. You know, there's probably some truth in that.
Yeah.
Amanda Keller says Adam really thought Dan and Steve was his brothers. It was all manipulation and lies. They took advantage of all the men. I mean, yes. Yes. That's absolutely the truth. That's absolutely the case. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows. That's the thing. It's like, how are they even continuing with this case when everybody, it's like the cat's out of the bag, man. Everybody knows what they've done. Everybody knows how they've lied. Everybody knows that this is just bullshit, and they continue.
Right.
Does that seem a little surreal to you?
It's very surreal to me.
It's nuts. There was also a rumor that Barry bought the 3% National from Andrew Chavez.
That's crazy.
Wait, what? What does that even mean? I wasn't even supposed to be on this show today. What does that even mean? Bought the 3% National? You can't even do that. This isn't Monopoly. Jeez,
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna go back out. But damn, that is a weird. I've never heard some shit like that.
Yeah. What was this? What am I supposed to see here? Political news and views? You got to explain it to me. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. And that's the point, isn't it? That the FBI comes along and they just make up whatever lies they want, because I'm pretty sure they feel like they can go ahead, they'll get away with it.
Yeah.
They're never going to be held accountable. And why else would they make just such egregious lies? Unless they thought they could get away with it by saying that Barry Croft is the leader of the 3%.
Right.
It's just, I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is. Like, our lives are a little bit crazy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what though? I don't know. I don't want to say, that we're not any better off, but because this horrible thing has happened, it has brought me closer to people.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. And I think that's another failure of the FBI, that for some reason I get the impression they thought that we would all just kind of bury our heads in the sand.
Right.
That we would be scared of them. And man, they couldn't have been more wrong. I don't want to keep you much longer. I know you have the girls. We really appreciate this. We really do. We appreciate you being here. They've painted Barry and the guys as absolute monsters, and people need to know from the people closest to these guys that they're normal people.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Oh, go ahead, Thomas.
I just want to say that we encourage anybody and everybody, if there's somebody that's affected by this case, their family to the defendants. I mean, from Ty Garvin all the way to the other guys, Brian Higgins, Ty Garvin, Adam Caserta, Adam Fox, anybody. If you're related to them, or if you know them, or if they themselves, or if you are in contact with them themselves, and they want to come on this show and stop allowing the dishonest press to characterize them, to make them into a caricature of what they really are, because I really think that is the biggest strength of the mainstream media and the feds, is they try to make people suffer in silence, because they make people so afraid to come out, and they want people to suffer in silence, because because they know if the people speak out for themselves, that people will see that they're not what the media and the feds have been portraying them as. So I know there's some logistics and legal stuff, with the guys directly, the defendants. We'd still love to have them if they could clear it with their lawyers, but even if we can get their families to come on and do what Chastity has been brave enough to do, and portray these people fairly and honestly. These aren't monsters. These are American citizens that were fed up. And how many of us have not, spoke out when we're fed up and said, oh, I wish I could have that governor on the table as evidence number one that we're under tyranny. You know what I mean? These aren't serious threats. These are frustrated people who had their businesses shut down, their states shut down, their lives shut down, their ways to make money shut down. And then they had their cities burned, and then they had their elections tampered with, and now they were just frustrated. And I think that was the plan all along. Is they really truly believe that we are violent people when we are not, and they believe their own lies. They smell their, they constantly believe their own lies. We're not violent people, but we will not be pushed around. And that's the thing, is they expected us to go off the deep end when the riots happened. They expected us to go off the deep end at January 6th. None of that happened. And now they're stuck with trying to prosecute innocent men and try to pass it off as the prosecutions that they thought they would get when they unleashed the riots on the world. So, I just hope that other people will come out just like Chastity and really tell the true story of what's happening. Because these guys are not monsters, and it is so much the media's power to that they scare people into silence, because they know that scaring them into silence will allow them to paint these people in whatever way they want. They could paint him as the boogeyman, same like look at Osama bin Laden, that he's a boogeyman. Same thing with communism. You can paint it as whatever you want. Anything you dislike, you can paint it as that. We know that communism is bad, and we see it in this country, but we see it firsthand. But instead, the government never wants you to see anything firsthand or judge anything firsthand. They always want to be able to paint it to you and sell it to you as this is what this is, so they can paint a boogeyman and they can scare you and they can get you to do what they want. Sorry for going on a rant there, but you go ahead and finish out the interview.
Yeah, no.
And, you're talk about some other stuff. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're absolutely right. Chastity is blazing a trail tonight for any of the other family members that want to be able to speak on behalf of these men that have been arrested, to paint an honest picture. Not the one that the media is trying to sell everybody. We want to give you guys the opportunity to do that. We want you here. We want you to be able to talk about the reality of what these guys actually are, and what they've been through in their lives that makes them them. And there's some things here in the chat that I want to address as well. Blue Ridge, you said this is an opportunity to shine brightly in a dark place, and I want to speak on that. I'm going to get back to that. Penny Swan, P.S. Political News and Views, said, sharing here in Hillsdale, Michigan, Trask came here trying to stir up trouble. I don't know what that means, but we need you so bad in our lives to help us. We need people in Michigan. We need Michiganders to come out and help us with this case. I don't know that you can help us in that way. But I mean, I'm not in Michigan. Tom's not in Michigan. We've been trying to reach out to people in Michigan so that we can get something together out there for this trial. If that's something that you can help with, please let us know. And oh, dear Lord, I want to know what you mean when you say Trask came here trying to stir up trouble. I really want to know what that means. We need to free Ty when this is all over, Amanda said. Listen. That's the plan. If our guys walk, Ty should not be in there. And I know that they want us to, again, they want to paint us as people that, hate Ty Garbin. We absolutely do not. We do not wish him any ill will. We do not wish his family ill will. We want him to be free like the other guys. We get it. The FBI comes along. You're 18 years old in a day, and they scare you to death, and look at all the crimes they're willing to commit just to make sure the indictment and the charges happen. So, of course, they're going to lie and coerce and intimidate an 18-year-old who has his whole life ahead of him. They're going to tell him, you're facing 140 years there, Paco. You're never going to leave, and he's like, fine, I'll say whatever you need me to, No, hell no, we're not mad at that guy. We're not mad at him at all. We want him out. We want him free. We want him free and happy and not being molested by the FBI in any kind of a way. Yes, Penny Swan, please reach out to us at the Freeman Report at protonmail.com. That's the Freeman Report at protonmail.com. Please let us know what you mean, because my curiosity won't let me sleep. None of the guys arrested had any violent charges, or that would be plastered everywhere. Another good point. So Blue Ridge, you had said that this, shining light in a dark place. Chastity, myself, Thomas, and everybody who is getting indicted. This is a scary thing. This is an uncomfortable thing. Having to go to this federal court building and all of this. But I tell you what, this is our opportunity, and this is our shining moment. They wanted to put us under submission. They wanted to put a veil over us, a veil of secrecy that would hush us and keep us silent. This is our moment now. They've had the narrative and they've had the media, but they do not have us. They do not control us. They do not own us, and we are not beholden to them. This is our moment to go in there and free those boys. That's exactly what we're going to do. It's exactly what we're going to do. All of us.
Yep.
So
I'm going to say, I think Chastity is shut off for camera. And, I think we kind of have, I want to let her get back to taking care of the kids and such.
Okay.
She's got a life. And I really, really want to tell you, Charity, that, or Chastity. Wow. My mind is just everywhere right now. Sorry about that. Chastity, okay. I want to thank you for coming on, because that is very brave to do what you're doing right now. Showing a side of Barry that nobody's ever going to get to see except for you. A side that proves that he is not what they are portraying him as. So I want to just say, God bless you, and we are with you. And if you need anything, just like Jeremy said, and I know you're a humble person and don't need or want anything from anybody, but if you ever need anything, we're here. We stand with Barry and all the guys, from Brian Higgins to Ty Garvin to all the guys. We
stand with you and the kids too. We stand with everybody.
But I also want to say that we can't stand with all of them if they do not allow us to stand with them, if they do not reach out, or if they, are essentially cooperating with feds that are intimidating witnesses and doing all this stuff. That is essentially against everything we know as the rule of law. The Patriots are here to try to rectify this. So please consider everybody reaching out and being as brave as Chastity is. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you enjoy your night. We really appreciate you coming on. Give the girls a squeeze for everybody, and we're all praying for you. And stay in touch. Thank you for blazing this trail tonight.
Yep, we'll see you on Myrtle Beach when Barry's out.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
All right.
All right, have a good night. God bless.
Yep, God bless.
Man, that was cool of her to come on, man. That was really cool.
It definitely was, and I think it does so much good to see a real person who's really interacted and lived side by side with Barry Croft. He is not a crazy man. You know who's crazy? Steve Robeson is crazy. He's an insane person.
That's
a pedophile, valid. A gun runner, a person who would take advantage of even his best friend if it suited his needs. So
even just a momentary need.
Yeah, even if it's a momentary need. And Chastity is so is just so awesome for coming on.
Think about everything that woman has already endured. Okay, she ends up being given this incredible responsibility, spur of the moment, after the FBI shows up in Battle Rattle. Now she's accepting calls from a prison. She's learning about politics. She's learning about the judicial system. She's trying to keep food in the house. Now she's being subpoenaed to court, and people are bringing her on a live stream. I mean, this woman, her life was flipped upside down, and she took it gracefully.
And she's that is a strong, strong woman. And I cannot, Barry's a lucky man for having somebody who will stand by him no matter what. That's a good woman. She is standing by him. She knows that he's not guilty. She knows his heart. She knows who he is for real. And she is standing by him and doing everything and putting herself through hardships that she didn't need. She didn't have to do any of it. She didn't have nothing. Nobody held a gun to her head to do any of it. She did it of her own volition because she's a good woman who stands by her man.
Yeah, which speaks to Barry's character even more, that he's able to get somebody like that in his life that has that type of moral fiber and character, and then like think about her reactions when I asked a couple of those questions. You could tell. I mean, those were genuine reactions. She was like, "Man, we didn't expect any of this."
Yeah.
Like you could just tell. And when you ask her about Barry, you can tell, like, the dude is a genuine funny dude, that they have a good time when he's there, that he's not some abusive lunatic, but rather he was the source of joy for the house. Dude, how fucking heartbreaking is that?
Yeah. And the girls and everybody just being put through so much pain for something that didn't need to happen. I mean, if Barry was actually planning on doing something that they're saying he was planning on doing, why is it that 4 out of the 5 defendants that he's standing trial with didn't have any contact with him outside of the meetings? I mean, and Adam Fox is the only one that he did have contact with, and that was only for a grand total of all the times he talked to him, a grand total of 15 minutes, and usually just to tell him that one of his accounts were banned and that he's going to a different account.
But we're supposed to be convinced that these guys are a tightly knitted terrorist cell here in America that's just a brotherhood of, blood and sin and fucking mayhem. I mean, the fuck out of here.
And not just that, but I had a talk with Barry today, and he said, when I get out, I want to dedicate myself, and I made a pact with God to dedicate myself to the world of the spirit, or the realm of the spirit, and he wants to make a church in which he can help people to. Sorry, I got getting a little choked up. Help people to get a house, build a home without having to take out loans and put themselves in debt. And, I just don't believe that guy is what they're saying is. I'm sorry. I get a little choked up here.
No, you're good. He's not that. And everybody who's even known that guy for 15 fucking minutes knows that he's not that. He's a good dude. And they're trying to lock up not just him, but other people that are a hell of a lot like him. And that's telling by itself. Why would our own government want to lock up our own people that are virtuous, that are good people? She said that as he drives around the nation as a truck driver, this dude picks up homeless people and gets them to where they need to go, and gets them, he's told me too, he'll get them a bite to eat. He'll sit down and talk with them. Like, who does that? Is it a terrorist? You know what I mean? It is heartbreaking. It is frustrating. And it's so symbolic of everything our government has become. And it's sickening. I can't wait until we get to go testify. It does make me nervous, but man, we are going to free those men. We are going to go in there and tell the truth. And it is going to end this charade.
Yeah. And I want to say this. So, I want to say that anybody who has been contacted by the FBI, if you have been intimidated by the FBI, if they have tried to make you lie, if they have tried to make you testify in a way that is against what you know to be true, or against your conscience, you have every right to reach out to the media. And we're not saying the Freeman Report. Anybody, any media that'll listen, Fox, MSNBC, CNN, anybody that will listen. And if you need help, we'll help you. Because we know for a fact, and because of legal reasons, we cannot say exact names, but we know for a fact that the FBI is tampering with witnesses and strong-arming witnesses and intimidating witnesses. You better testify, or else we're going to make your life real hard. That's tampering with witnesses. Yet now that they've subpoenaed Chastity, Barry's not going to be able to talk to her about anything according to the relating to the case, because that would be considered tampering with a witness tampering.
which cuts off his line to the outside world, to his home where his children are. Think about that. I mean, I don't know how many people are listening that have ever been locked up, man, but you do time one of two ways. You either keep your thoughts inside of those walls, meaning you pretend that outside world doesn't exist. Because if you allow your thoughts to go outside of the walls, it could drive you insane. But the stronger people will do their time while keeping in touch with the outside world. And for Barry, he doesn't have a choice. He has to be strong. He's got 3 little girls, so he gets to talk to them for 15 minutes once a week, and once a month for 45 minutes, he gets to see them through video. Yeah. This isn't right. This isn't right from beginning to end. This is all wrong. You don't do this to people. And the fact that it's been done to somebody who so many of us know as a good man, and they're trying to turn him into something he's not in front of a nation that doesn't know, man, it's sickening. It's sickening, and it's really hard to stomach. It's very difficult. Barry was under
this is interesting. So Barry was under Christopher Hinckley says Barry was under constant attack, constantly taunted by anarchists, which were probably feds, trying to egg him on and guilt him into doing something. I know because I came to his defense many times and he came to mine. Chris, contact me when we're off of this, because I want you to get in contact with some folks, because that is definitely interesting. The feds definitely do use troll accounts, and they definitely do try to egg people. They try to find people who are less emotionally stable, or in a place where they're very angry or otherwise at what's going on, and they will try to egg them on to one side or the other. And if you're not careful, you can fall inside their trap. And that sounds exactly like paid fed trolling.
Sounds like Patriot Front, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like a Patriot Front type thing. Sounds like and this is why people, when you go onto social media, you have to be so careful. Somebody might come on there and be like, oh, you say you're a hypocrite and you're this, and if you don't do this, well, you're not true blue. And that's usually just emotional manipulation to try to get you to do something that you shouldn't do, by trying to make you feel like you're a hypocrite. You're not a hypocrite. We're all working and fighting to make the United States better in whatever legal ways that we can. And they don't want that, so they try to force you outside of the legal means. Yeah, Chris, I definitely am going to reach out to you about that. Because that's definitely something that might even be relevant in the court of law. Because that's definitely something that they should see, because we know 100% that Antifa and BLM made a deal with the feds. The feds were not just at the riots, they were giving material support to the riots, and also doing overwatch using drones, and giving people money to get satellite phones, giving them money to get these little weird, they're called trikes, where they have the 2 wheels in the front and the 1 wheel in the back. They're kind of a weird vehicle that can go off-road and stuff. I mean, if you look at every picture of the riots in all sorts of different cities, you will always see that bike. You will always see like these certain vehicles, and it was almost like they got like a deal on a group of them, and then they handed them out to all the organizers of these riots and helped them learn how to block streets, how to strategically do things. I definitely think this goes so deep, and I don't want to get off the beaten track of what we're talking about, but I definitely want to talk to you, Chris.
Yeah, look, Chris Hinckley, he just said what all of us said. This was one of the ways that they've suppressed evidence in this case, big time, and that's a crime. Facebook took down my original account, or I would have all of the evidence. Brother, you are not alone. That's everybody associated to the case. Are we supposed to believe that that's coincidence? That all of the evidence that we had that could immediately free these guys, gone. Just gone.
And that's the thing. Cannon bikes is what Lori Chipman said are those things with the two wheels in the front and the one wheel in the back. But Chris, your firsthand account as testimony, and I'll testify that I've seen it happen. I didn't specifically see it happen to Barry, but I've seen it happen to others where they are being egged on by what are almost surely feds trying to push somebody who is either in an unstable moment or an unstable place in their lives, and they're being pushed towards something violent. And you can just see it. You can see it. It's a false flag in the making. You can see it. And I've called it out many times. And the usual response is, oh, well, you call everybody who disagrees with you a Fed or a lefty. No, I just call people exhibiting the behaviors of somebody who is working for the federal government a lefty or a Fed.
Yeah. And they try to project a lot of that onto us because that's exactly what they do. What we've been able to do is we've kept an open mind. Many of our speeches around the nation start with that, where, we're like, look, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're an American, you're good with us. It's when these people position themselves as our enemies that we recognize it. We say, oh, okay, I get it. I get it there, federal officer, whatever, and when we recognize the position they've given us for themselves and for us, then all of a sudden they start to project that on us, and it's completely intellectually dishonest. It's a child's tactic is what it is.
Yep.
I had 3 accounts taken down, and it definitely had evidence. Friends of Liberty, Citizens Taking Initiative, and my personal page. That's from Blue Ridge. Deleted just before they got arrested and just before the election. Yep, that was everybody's account. Everybody, that's how like for this next election, everybody back up your accounts. Everybody back them up. So yeah, they're subpoenaing all of us, and they're going to send a small cadre of patriots to the federal Michigan courthouse. And it'll be the one time they can't deny we're under surveillance. And that's a mistake. That's stupid. They're so arrogant that they think that they're going to get us in there and we're going to be something else. That that all of this was a facade, right? That this is just a joke. Like we don't take any of this being a patriot serious. Sure, put me in your building and I'll just buckle like a little bitch. Dude, you fucked up. You're bringing real patriots into your building, and you're about to see what that's like, because we don't play your games. We have nothing to do with your stupidity. All right? We're not assigned to any of it. It's insane that you would do this, but we're coming. We're coming via your invitation, and we're going to be there, and we're going to tell the truth, and then everyone's going home. You watch.
100%. And I know it's hard. And some of us, and even myself, we've all had our moments of doubt, but I 100% believe, and I can see it, that they're going to walk out of there victorious, and that they are going to be given their lives back, and not just given their lives back, but apologize to. And I hope that we can only get with these guys and write a book. People need to understand how the federal, this has to be the end of it. This has to be the end. We cannot continuously put up with the FBI doing what they've done for decades, not just not just a couple of years, not just since 9/11, but for decades and decades in American history, since their conception. They have done nothing useful to the American public. They have done nothing but harass and obstruct freedom and harm our way of life. And it's about time that they have to answer for it. And we don't need to find out all their secrets to disband them. All we need to know is that what they did in Michigan was wrong, and that is enough to justify them being disbanded, abolished, and barred from ever becoming an organization again. So we're at 59 minutes.
Let me say this real quick. From Casey Massey, who was murdered by the FBI because he refused to drive 3 hours away to his probation office to sign a piece of paper. He just asked his PO. He was like, look, I was just there. It's 300 miles away. I have a job. what you're doing here is you're just disrupting my life. I'm under no obligation to sit here and keep driving to you every week. We have an obligation where I go there once a month. And if you need me to sign something, just wait for me to get there, you know, on my next monthly visit. The PO said no and put a warrant out for his arrest. He wasn't going to sit there and, you know, be played like that. His life had already gone in directions where he had given enough and he had been shit on enough. And he wasn't going to cowtail to these fuckers anymore.
Well, not just that, but there are electronic, there's websites and legal sites that electronically, they can send you something to electronically sign, and it's just as good as a signature.
Yep.
So there's other ways that they could have done that.
Yep. You can do an e-sign verification, and it's used all the time, It's very simple software. And you're absolutely correct. What a good freaking point. They found KC in the woods and they shot him dead. Lavoy Finicum jumped out of a car where they set up a roadblock that forced him into the ditch. And when he jumped out, he put both of his hands up. They shot and they killed him. The Malner situation, the Bundy situation, the Hammond situation, Sugar Pine Mine, Las Vegas, all of these Patriots incursions have one thing in common, and that was the feds who after that lost the cases. Let's remember that, right? Now, there were guys who pled guilty like Ty Garbin did in this case.
Let's not forget Ruby Ridge and Waco. And, you know, I mean, whatever people feel about the people at Waco and their practices, they had no right to burn those kids alive.
No, hell no. Those were Americans. What the fuck is going on? You don't sit there and just bomb people because Hillary Clinton needs new blood on her hands. You know what I mean? Like, that's out of control. Oklahoma City bombing also had Hillary Clinton tied to it. You know, that was incredible, you know, what happened there. And they've tied all of those extreme things somehow, not to the FBI, where it needs to be tied to. That's your culprit, right? And it has been for every damn case. They talk about how these guys are just as extreme as the people who did those things. You know, it's a lie. It's a facade from the beginning. The American people know it. They're sick of it. They see it in this case, and let this case be the last of its kind. Let this and January 6th, you know, because they're so closely tied. Let it all end here, man. Let it all end here. They've killed too many of us. They've gotten away with too much for too long. Let's get our boys free. All the patriots that are getting subpoenaed to go up in there, and all the people who can be a witness. You know, let's go up in there and do the right thing. Let's go in there and free our boys. Let's go in there, tell the truth, and shame this federal government as it should be. Let's go in there like the patriots we are and absolutely decimate their chances to continue to commit these crimes against our people.
And I want to say that I know that it's hard and it's scary and it's unsure and it's uncertain to stand with the Patriots, even when you're facing down the FBI, or even when you've been locked up in a county jail waiting extradition, and you don't know what's going to happen, and all you can count on is a lawyer that you paid. I get that it's scary, but we all have to stand behind the Patriots. And I get, you know, it just seems like all the time, as soon as the FBI goes after one of our Patriot brothers, we all run and scatter and get scared. And that's, I'm not pointing anybody out. I'm not blaming anybody. It's everybody. Our whole movement. You look and you see how they come. As soon as they come after somebody, they know 100% that they're going to cut them off from anybody and everybody that could support them. We need to stop doing that. And we need to do what Jeremy has done, what I have done, what Chastity has done, what Amanda's done, what everybody, you know, involved with this case has done, and say, no. We're going to back our guys. And sure, we'll testify for the prosecution, but you better know that we're going to tell the truth. We're not going to tell your truth. We're going to tell the truth. And, you know, so regardless of if I testify for the prosecution or the defense, I'm still doing the same service to the truth. So, I mean, you know, I'm so glad that we had this broadcast. I think it was one of our most powerful broadcasts to date. And I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to just say www.patriotshit.com, promo code TFMR 2022 to get 10% off at checkout, and you help us. We love you guys. thank you for coming out. We got to cut this broadcast short because it was just kind of meant to be the interview and, you know, a little bit of commentary and then done. So I want to thank you guys for I don't know, Kelvin. They're like Ruskies or something. I don't know where they're from, but I just keep blocking them and they keep coming back in different forms. I have no clue what they are. But I love you guys. Please keep coming back. Please keep sharing the broadcast. You guys are breaking through an enormous amount of censorship and shadow banning, and they're scared to death. They are scared to death. So the more you share this, they wouldn't be banning us and shadow banning us and censoring us as hard as they are right now. And believe me, me and Jeremy have a bunch of stories about this. If they weren't scared to death of what's on this channel getting out to the general public. So keep sharing us, keep getting people to like us, keep getting people to watch us, and if you want to and if you can, keep sharing our broadcasts that you think are important with other people as well as the media that is friendly to our cause or not friendly to our cause, just any media. So yeah, thank you guys. Sorry for being a little bit long-winded there, but
all good, brother. Before we go, I want to say thanks to Calvin Robinson, Deborah Davis Reyes, Rhiannon, I hope I said that correctly, Conklin, Christina Sayer, Scrimshaw Rose, Blue Ridge. We've got a woman by the name of Sue who is in Michigan listening to us, Sue Molitor. Appreciate you joining in Michigan. We really need to reach out to more Michiganders. We really do.
Yeah.
Lori Chipman, everybody, Blue Ridge, Joe Axe, my dude, Chris Hinckley, everybody, really rapper, 100,000, 110,000. Man, we just really appreciate you guys being here. We appreciate you being part of this. The way that they've censored this channel is something we kind of expected it, but we didn't think it would be like this. So if you're here, it's kind of amazing because they really do block this channel. We have people tell us all the time, we cannot find it. They'll type it in and they cannot find it. Yep. So it's very strange, right? But you guys are helping us. We appreciate it.
What that means is you guys are just so persistent that they can't block you from it. It means that you guys will keep looking and looking until you get to the channel. So, and please encourage others to do the same. To encourage others to, you know, look at every single way they could possibly try to get to our channel because YouTube is not happy. Yep.
Rhiannon. That's how you say that name. Rhiannon. Thank you.
Rhiannon. Like Rihanna, like Rihanna, but like Rihanna, but Rhiannon.
Rhiannon. Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. You guys have a blessed rest of your night. Blessed Sunday. You guys are what makes it happen. You guys are the ones that keep us coming back and keep us, you know, afloat. So God bless you. And I know we're going to have victory. And God bless America. And I will check in with you, Penny Swan. Have a good night, guys. Bye.